Hi, this is Lloyd with AVS Medical. I want to run through a quick tutorial on how to adjust your medication reconciliation numbers if they are too low. So the scenario here would be that you saw a patient on a particular date of service and for whatever reason did not actually document the fact that you had done a medication reconciliation on that date. So now some time has passed and you need to go back and retroactively adjust your numbers to reflect the fact that you actually did a medication reconciliation on that date. So the first thing I need to do is run my performance metrics report to get a baseline. So I'm just going to run it for medication reconciliation. And when it pops up, I see that my denominator is 10. I've only done it on 2 of them. And my threshold is 50%, and I'm at 20. So I've got some work here to do. Now my demo database, I don't have a lot of data. So in yours, you'll probably have a good bit more. So first thing we need to do is find out who these patients are. So let's hover over the numerator, in this case the 2. And when that box pops up, we'll double click it. And when we do, we see all the patients during that date range who make up the denominator and whether or not the metric was accomplished for them. So I only have 2 patients that were. So I see the patients' names and I see their dates of service over here on the right. So I'm going to come down here to this patient, Testy Tester, and I see he's got an N for the metric on his visit date of the 1st of October. So that's important, that date. We need to remember that because that's the date we've got to adjust, and you'll see why in just a minute. Now, if this were your system, what I would suggest you do before you go any further is come up here all the way to the upper left and click that little printer icon, and then that will print this list out, and then you can grab that printed list and work from it to adjust your numbers. So we got our patient, and let's go over to the EMR and let's find him. So I've only got a couple of patients in my demo database. So here's his chart, Testy Tester. So the way that I get to his MedRecs is I go up to the Show menu right here at the top left. I click on Show, and then very near the top there's a new option this year called Data Reconciliation. And when I click on Data Reconciliation, I see an option over here for medication rec history. So I'm going to double click medication rec history. Now, when this pops up, this is a little confusing, so I'm going to take a moment to explain this. This is a list of all of their clinical encounters for which a medication reconciliation has been done. So these were all back in May. These are all outside of my reporting period, and I'm looking for the one for the 1st of October. I don't see it on this list, so what I do is come down to the bottom and I click on New. And now when I click New, I see all of the patient's clinical encounters, whether or not they did or did not have a medication reconciliation done on them. So if you remember from a moment ago, the one I'm interested in is this one right here, the 1st of October 2014. So I've got it highlighted in that purple color. And now the last but the most important step in the process is I need to come up to the top of this window and it says Date Performed. Now it defaults to today's date. So you need to change this date to the date of the visit, in this case 10/1. We can use the drop down and select it from a calendar, but I prefer just to highlight the first number and then take on the keyboard, just type in that date. So I'm going to type in 10/01/14, not 2014, but just 14, and it automatically highlights it. And then all I do is hit Save. Okay, at the bottom of that window it says Save. I click Save, and now I see it at my list. It's on the top of my list over here. So that's how you do it. Okay, so let's close this and let's check it. Let's go back to our performance metrics report, and I'm going to rerun it. If you remember a moment ago, it was 2 out of 10. Now it's 3 out of 10. So that's how you update your medication reconciliation numbers. Just to review, we open up their chart. We know the date of service that we're interested in already. We go to Show, Data Reconciliation, MedRec History. We don't see the one we're interested in here, so we click New. We find that date of service over here, so I'll do one for 11/4. Now, you can highlight it, or you can just come right up here, type in 11/04/14, and hit Enter. And there it is. Okay, and then I just hit save, and now it puts it on my list of clinical encounters where medication reconciliation was performed, and that's my goal here for today. So that's how you adjust your MedRec numbers. Thanks.